This episode of Internet Today is brought to you by Gabby and by SimpliSafe.
Now, first off, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a ho, ho, ho. What the hell is going on? What are we still doing here on this holiday week?
Yeah.
Well, we prayed to our Lord and Savior, Old Saint Nick, for a news story that would really tie the whole year together. One that included all of the most tantalizing parts of a great story: comedy, drama, infidelity, crime,
Cringe.
and Martin SHKRELI. And wouldn't you know it, that fat bastard actually delivered, because we're keeping you company during this socially distanced holiday season with an absolutely insane story involving all of the previously mentioned things.
Yeah, the story no one asked for.
And no one wants, really.
Coming in just ahead of time, right at the end of the year.
Right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Right before everyone goes home. Well, in a normal year, would go home to see their families and be able to regale each other of this monumental tale.
A story delivered to all of us, wrapped in a bow, for no apparent reason. Like this is none of that. This is none of anyone's business, and it's all just fucking out there now.
Yeah.
And it sounds like telling the story has affected the people involved pretty negatively. Anyway,
well, it's out there, so here we go.
If for some reason you are unaware, you shouldn't be. He's literally one of the founding members of the Internet Today, Machinima ETC, Rogues Gallery of Weekly Weird Villains, going back several years.
Yeah,
like
4 years. 4 or 5 years.
No, long, it's like 6.
Okay, geez.
But just in case you're new, here's an extremely brief rundown on who Martin SHKRELI is. Martin SHKRELI is currently serving 7 years in federal prison after being found guilty of securities fraud. But that's not really what he's famous for. He's famous for obtaining the license for a life-saving drug called Daraprim, and then just jacking that price up from $13.50 per pill to $750 per pill through his company Turing Pharmaceuticals, which made him the poster boy for the exploitative healthcare and pharmaceutical industry, a role that he happily embraced.
Yes, he loved the attention.
Mm-hmm.
Amidst his rise to infamy for your standard white-collar evil bullshit that Americans just seem to forgive people for, he also became addicted to his newfound fame and basically became a now famous internet shitposter. Also a failed esports investor, and among other things, he drew the ire of the entire world by purchasing the one and only copy of the Wu-Tang Clan album Once Upon a Time in Shaolin at auction for $2 million. But like we said at the beginning, SHKRELI was eventually jailed for financial crimes that had really nothing to do with all the other morally reprehensible shit that he was famous for. And that's where he's been since 2018, in jail, and mostly out of the headlines, outside of a brief mention at the start of the pandemic, where he asked to be released so that he could contribute to the development of a vaccine. But yeah, that was rejected by a judge who basically said he was a lunatic for assuming that he could somehow help save the world from COVID.
I think they should have let him out.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
What if this could have all been over if they had just listened to Martin SHKRELI. Now we'll never know.
We'd all be jamming that Wu-Tang album at home with our families right now.
Yeah, injecting that album directly into our veins.
Exactly. The secret was in there the whole time.
Yeah. So yeah, SHKRELI remained in prison and out of our minds for yet another extended period of time, only popping up infrequently to be referenced whenever we spoke about other terrible people in comparison. Until this weekend, when right before the clock struck midnight on what is easily just the worst year in modern memory, Martin SHKRELI was thrust into the forefront of the national conversation once again, and this time we had to hear all about how he seduced one of the women covering him as a reporter from all the way back when he was barely known on the world stage. I mean, this guy right here, this hunk, I guess.
Yeah.
No, not hunky at all, but he managed to seduce someone, which we agree. Pretty hard to believe. But it's not just that. He was somehow so charming, so debonair, so handsome, that he convinced this journalist to essentially throw her entire personal and professional life away just to be with him.
Yeah.
Even after he'd been tried, convicted, and sentenced to nearly a decade in prison.
Yeah. It's wild. In an explosive, sad, hilarious, and all-around insane article posted on the Sunday before Christmas, which should be a goddamn war crime. The story of a journalist for Bloomberg named Christy Smith hit the pages of Elle magazine, where the long, wild journey of her love affair with one of America's most hated white-collar criminals was laid out for everyone to read. even though it's none of their business.
Yeah, there's no reason.
This article should not exist.
I'm like, the whole time reading this, it's a long article. I'm like, why are you telling me about any of this? This is not any of my business.
And I get to it at the end to wrap things up, but why offer all of this information?
Yeah.
Look, whatever. The whole thing, of course, if you dare, is worth a read. And we've linked it below, but before we start up with some quotes, we should probably summarize the whole thing by explaining that from her first days covering SHKRELI for Bloomberg to where we are now, this woman fell in love with him despite describing him in numerous unflattering ways. She also left her husband for him, got her eggs frozen so that her and SHKRELI could have kids together eventually, and then spent countless hours visiting him in prison and defending him online and in person as simply misunderstood, all while appearing to blame him for being so charming and ultimately manipulative despite remaining to this day attached to him emotionally and waiting for his eventual release.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking wild.
Yeah.
And stupid. And she ruined her life and her husband's life and a lot of her friendships. And baby, this story's got it all. So let's stop wasting time. Let's just get into some quotes from this damn masterpiece of reporting from Stephanie Clifford over at Elle Magazine. All right. So Christy Smith or Smythe, I don't know. I'll say Smith, but Christy and her husband, who worked in finance, spent their free time cooking, walking Smythe's rescue dog, and going on literary pub crawls. Quote, "We had the perfect little Brooklyn life," Smythe says. Then she chucked it all. Over the course of 9 months, beginning in July 2018, Smith quit her job, moved out of the apartment, and divorced her husband. What could cause the sensible Smith to turn her life upside down? She fell in love with a defendant whose case she not only covered, but broke the news of his arrest. It was a scoop that ignited the internet because her love interest, now life partner, is not just any defendant, but Martin SHKRELI, the so-called Pharma bro and online provocateur.
So the article talks about both of their backstories for a bit, how Smythe had come to cover SHKRELI, and how SHKRELI had gone from relative nobody to villain almost overnight for all the reasons we spoke about before. And the SHKRELI saga, if you'll recall, it all took place pretty rapidly, the height of which happened in a handful of months. And so did the groundwork for their relationship, which, of course, started out professionally. Smythe, in the midst of coverage, was at one point able to secure a face-to-face meeting with SHKRELI. And boy, she took one look at him in private and, I guess, just couldn't resist.
This is the guy I'm about to risk it all.
You are my density. I mean, destiny. Quote, "When SHKRELI walked in for the 1 o'clock meeting, this time wearing a black hoodie, his hair greasy, he immediately, quote, started giving me a spiel," she says. "He wanted to talk off the record and proceeded to show Smythe spreadsheet after spreadsheet with investors' holdings in his funds. He argued that they were all ultimately paid back. You could see his earnestness," Smythe says. "It just didn't match this idea of a fraudster." How could he get away with it? He's just a little greasy-haired chump. And a cute one.
Yeah.
Now, after that, he kept toying with her for a while, dangling an on-the-record interview and then granting one to her competitors, making her jealous.
It's a form of negging, I think.
I think he was... There's not light, but negging and gaslighting back and forth across this entire story with everyone involved.
Yeah. I mean, she has no reason to be attracted to this guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, the article continues. One evening when Smythe called him for comment, a tiny shift occurred. SHKRELI was looking for a new lawyer and asked her for advice. She felt flattered, she says, and offered her opinion. Quote, "It really felt like he didn't have anybody to talk to that he could bounce ideas off of. I was like, all right, I guess I can do it. He sounded ragged and fragile, and I got concerned he would commit suicide because all the stuff was all happening at once. Still, her job came first. She pre-wrote an obituary for SHKRELI in case he did in fact kill himself."
Jesus Christ, I can save him. But in case I can't, I will write his obituary right now.
But he didn't, obviously, and then they continued to meet as things progressed. She would get little scraps of access and information, and then he would ghost her, essentially deploying the dentist system from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia on her.
Yeah.
She decided that she would like to write a book on SHKRELI, which close colleagues advised against since they could see how attached she was becoming to the subject.
Basically saying this is the worst idea.
Bad journalism, and you're heading on a path to just self-implosion, so maybe don't do it. But, reporters are going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Things continued. SHKRELI would publicly SHKRELI would publicly acknowledge and praise her. She ended up sitting in the courtroom during his trial every day, even though at the time she wasn't covering him for Bloomberg, but just for her book.
Yeah.
That was more just like a diary, seems like.
Yeah, and it didn't end up getting picked up for publishing, so it was all like ultimately worthless. Although I think that there's like some TV rights or anyways.
Yeah, she kept trying to sell it, and they're like, wait, so
you're actually in love with this guy.
Yeah,
they're like, we want like a book that kind of like shows how.
And they're like, no, he's actually a great guy.
He's just misunderstood.
Trust me, I know. I'm
also, I can
partner.
fix it.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on throughout this whole story. You should really go through and read the whole article because it is wild just seeing how slowly but surely they got intertwined with each other. She essentially turns into a huge SHKRELI supporter and might as well have been waving a free SHKRELI flag in the courtroom.
Yeah.
But now let's get to the part where shit gets really flipped upside down. Quote, "He's just using you," Smythe's husband had told her early on after a late night call with SHKRELI. "For what?" she'd replied. The argument escalated. Her husband felt she was risking her journalistic reputation by getting too sucked into this bad person, Smythe says. She felt he was trying to micromanage her career. They scheduled a couples counseling session. So, look, everyone talks about gaslighting these days, but man, she was certainly gaslighting her husband. There was nothing going wrong. You're just being jealous and thinking that you're completely off base here.
I hope that guy's doing great.
Yeah, you really, really got to feel for this guy, especially.
Can't imagine losing your wife to Martin SHKRELI.
The end result is that you lost your wife to Martin SHKRELI. I mean, this just sucks for that guy.
Yeah, that because they were together for a long time too.
Yeah, so. They had been dating for 5 years and then got married. They had their life together. Had a place in Brooklyn. Like seemed to be going fine, and then all of a sudden,
you think you know someone. And then they get into a long-distance, very committed relationship with Martin SHKRELI.
His greasy hair was adorable.
Yes, then the whole get me a piece of Hillary Clinton's hair escapade happens. You remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what got SHKRELI thrown into jail.
Yeah.
Smythe basically becomes his personal assistant at this point, securing his medications and making sure his cat is okay and will be taken care of while he's locked up. She visits him in jail, gives him a hug, chats with him, microwaves him a hamburger.
Very sweet.
Very sweet of her. Though, her little visit to her new crush, SHKRELI, just forced her to be almost an hour late to her marriage counselor's office where her poor fucking husband is sitting there waiting, almost presumably saying something to the effect of, "See, I swear I'm not crazy. She's actually falling in love with this weird Pharma bro she's covering for work and for a book, which is not only unprofessional, but also ruining our marriage. Do you see? I'm in the right here."
Sir, calm down. She'll be here any moment. Also, that's girl boss behavior.
Also, like, marriage counseling, not cheap. It's like just paying hundreds of dollars to sit
Yeah, and he's just sitting there alone.
Yeah.
Being like, you see? Nope.
Yeah.
Then it turns out that conversations between Smythe and SHKRELI had been used as evidence in his trial where she was named as individual one.
Yeah, they were emailing back and forth, and anything you email while you're in corrections, like, they can look at that.
There's so many red flags here that she missed along the way. Look, apparently this was the point where she finally realized she'd gotten too close to him and had to keep things separated. So of course she cut ties with SHKRELI, right?
That would be the sensible thing to do.
No, of course not. Instead, she told her editors at Bloomberg that she'd become too close to him and just took herself off the beat. She then fully transformed into an advocate for SHKRELI and would connect him with supporters and also argue with people and other journalists online about him.
She's still at it, too.
Yes, she is. She signed up for Clubhouse, the worst app in the App Store, and had a virtual town hall last night where she's exactly the person you think she is.
Yeah.
Look, the fighting with other journalists and other people online, that obviously pissed off her bosses at Bloomberg. So what did she do? Did she calm down on the posting, take a breath, think about her career? No.
She chose love.
She fucking quit on the spot, divorced her husband, and froze her fucking eggs so that SHKRELI and her could eventually have kids.
Quote, at the time of her and her husband's separation, Smythe had been visiting SHKRELI for months. She took a 6 a.m. prison van from Manhattan to see him when he moved to a New Jersey prison. When he was transferred to a prison in Pennsylvania, Smythe, who used to get panic attacks when driving, got a driver's license so she could still see him. He told her she was one of the only people allowed to visit him and mused about running for office or starting a podcast when he got out. That belief in himself, although it may seem delusional at times, it draws you in, she says. I don't know if everything he was saying was true, but maybe like 1% is, and that's awesome on its own.
Ooh.
Okay, so enough edging here. Here's the goddamn highlight of the whole story.
Yeah.
The part that's been screenshotted everywhere. So, without her job or her marriage, quote, that totally eroded any defenses I had left. Before, she had tamped down the sparks between her and SHKRELI, but now she gave them air. She thought about when he'd teased her about being a nerd in an old photo he glimpsed, and how she felt when he added her to his visitors list. He's not a big fan of visitors, but wanted her to come. A realization hit her. In the visitors' room, quote, "I told Martin I loved him," Smythe says, "and he told me he loved me too." She asked if she could kiss him, and he said yes. The room smelled of chicken wings, she remembers.
This is the saddest thing I've ever read. Just pathetic on every front. And willfully giving this information away.
Yeah, you didn't have to share any of this.
You know what? I'm fucked up and proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went a little bit crazy, sure. But aren't we all a little bit crazy? No one's as crazy as you, lady. Holy fuck. Our reality has folded. We are all living in a gigantic sitcom for someone else. And I'm tired of all the bad writing. Mm-hmm. There's no way that I could have expected this at the end of the fucking year.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, this is literally exactly what should have happened with Martin SHKRELI. Not only does he ruin his own life, but he takes other people down with him. And the fact that he became a cartoon villain so fast only makes the people involved with him suffer comically similar falls from grace.
Yeah.
It had to be this stupid. There was no other way. I just feel so goddamn bad for this lady's husband. We are so sorry, dude. You got cucked by Martin fucking SHKRELI. Merry fucking Christmas to that guy. Holy shit.
To be fair.
Luckily,
they haven't fucked yet.
They haven't fucked yet.
And also, she hasn't even seen him in person in a year because of COVID restrictions.
Because of coronavirus. But man, if there's a year where you have to have an excuse to not see your family and friends, you kind of lucked out with this year. With this story being published right before Christmas.
A lot of questions.
Hey, you gonna come down, see the family and the friends?
So
no, I'm busy. It's coronavirus.
Date anyone?
Coronavirus.
She has interestingly, she's become a big prison rights advocate, which is good.
Yeah.
The U.S. prison system is fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's just a classic case of being right about something, but for
the wrong
reason. Getting to that point through the most fucked up, circuitous route possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. Anyway, SHKRELI is actually, turns out, pretty pissed about this article and the fact that journalist Christy Smythe decided to share the story of their lives for God knows what reason. Why would she want people to know this? There's a hot new trend of cringe shit happening here recently, and it's called people telling on themselves. It's actually pretty great because instead of just waiting to find out about something someone did, people are just willing to tell on themselves, seemingly because they hate themselves so much they just want to feel something or be the center of attention, like all the COVID vacation people and whatnot.
I cannot believe.
Even in the article, she's just like, yeah, so he's pissed off at me that I'm even doing this interview. He hasn't called me in weeks. I'm like, so... You should probably not do this because you
no, people
threw
need
away
to know.
You threw away your entire life to be with this guy. You should probably no, we're going through it.
People need to know my story for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And
when Elle magazine asked Martin SHKRELI for comment, he sent, it was just this very cold response, Mr. SHKRELI is wishes Christy Smythe the best of luck on all her endeavors. It's just totally he's fucking pissed about this.
Yeah.
And the relationship might be fucking over due to this article.
Well, I hope her husband will take her back. Anyway, speaking of people telling on themselves, on the timeline this week.
So many people are just wow, the London metro is so fucking crowded.
Well,
jeez.
Flying home to see the family.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Okay, look. The truth of the matter is you should probably stay home alone and be safe, okay? Not spread it, not get it, whatever.
But
if you're gonna do something, don't tell the whole world about it.
Yeah, I get that some people do have to travel for legitimate reasons.
Yeah.
But a lot of people probably don't.
That story about traveling from London and
the whole thing happening in the UK right now is fucking nuts.
You have 24 hours to fucking get wherever you need to be.
And the UK has its own special edition strain of the virus now. They're that's way more contagious. It's going to be 28 days later over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they last minute, no warning. They're hey, you got 24 hours to either stay in London or get the fuck out. It just caused this travel bonanza that is definitely going to be a super spreader event based on all the photos and shit of the trains.
Yeah, it looks like a bunch of kids trying to head out to Hogwarts. Then they all have coronavirus.
Yeah, just no social distancing, just people crammed into train cars with probably terrible ventilation. Just great job, everyone.
Anyways, let's take a few deep breaths here. Got some time for last minute gift ideas for yourself maybe, or maybe you want to keep the things in your life more secure. Good. Hey, that's good. Let's take a second to thank today's sponsors, starting with Gabby. You know you're probably overpaying on car and home insurance. Now, sure, you'd love to save money, but is spending hours on your own shopping for a lower rate to maybe save a few bucks worth it? Probably not. Do what we did and use Gabby instead. Gabby does all the work for you in just a few minutes, and get this, Gabby customers save $961 per year on average.
Gabby takes the pain out of shopping for insurance by giving you an apples-to-apples comparison of your current coverage with 40 of the top insurance providers like Progressive, Nationwide, and Travelers. You just link your current insurance account, and in just minutes, you'll be able to see quotes for the exact same coverage you currently have. It's a really simple process. You just fill out a bunch of questionnaire fields, and quickly they send you basically, here's all the other offers that are potentially better. Luckily, I've been a AAA insurance member officially for like 60 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So
As a family?
So yeah, but it was nice to see that I actually do have my best available rate.
Yeah, you're not getting screwed.
Yeah. But it was super easy.
Yeah, Gabby customers, they save $961 per year on average. I bet that'd be nice to have in your pocket every year. Couple extra Christmas presents under the tree. If they can't find you savings, then they'll let you know, like they let Elliot know, that you can relax and you know that you have the best rate out there. And they'll never sell your info, so no annoying spam or robocalls, because we all hate that. Now, you're probably overpaying on car and home insurance, so see how much Gabby can save you. It's totally free to check out. There's no obligation. Use our link. Go to Gabby.com/todaydaily. That is GABI.com/todaydaily. Gabby.com/todaydaily. Check them out.
And this episode is brought to you by our friends at Simply Safe. Everyone wants to keep their home and family safe. If not,
what are you doing?
Pretty weird.
Yeah.
Break-ins, fires, flooding, medical emergencies, all that stuff. And Simply Safe Home Security delivers award-winning 24/7 protection for your home. With Simply Safe, you don't just get an arsenal of cameras and sensors, you get the best professional monitors in the business. They've got your back day and night, ready to send police, fire, or EMTs when you need them the most, straight to your door.
Yeah, we use it here. They actually sent us some for our homes that we can check out and mess with. But it's been working great at the studio. Yeah. The only time we get a little trigger on the the camera picked up something is a cockroach every once in a while.
Spider crawling on the camera.
We got to get the place fumigated. That's what Simply Safe is telling us.
It always looks like a spider that's massive, but the size of a human.
That big.
Yeah.
Anyway, Simply Safe has an arsenal of sensors and cameras that protect every inch of your home. You can set it up yourself in about 30 minutes. It's very easy. We did it, so yeah, it's easy. Simply Safe's professionals take over. They monitor your home 24/7, and they're ready to send help the moment there's an alarm. Plus, with Simply Safe, there's no long-term contracts, no hidden fees or installation costs. And right now, our viewers can get a free home security camera when you purchase a Simply Safe system at simplysafe.com/todaydaily. You also get a 60-day risk-free trial, so there's nothing to lose. Visit simplysafe.com/todaydaily for your free security camera today. That is simplysafe.com/todaydaily. All links are down below, of course. Check those out. Thanks for sponsoring one of the last shows of the year.
Yeah. Okay, now let's trudge through the rest of the shit that's out there in the world before we can all go back to pretending things are going to be jolly and good and time for Christmas. Your prayers have been answered, everyone. The United States government has swooped in to save the day once again.
Not a minute too soon.
Yep, my work here is done. And right on time, because everything's shutting down. People need to eat, right? Like, this pandemic's been going on for a long time. People need to have a roof over their head. People need money.
I can't have any money because you've shut down my business.
Good news, folks.
Yeah.
The stimulus bill has passed, and you're all getting $600. $600.
Oh, PS5, whenever it's in stock.
Hold on, is that $600 for all the months where they couldn't figure out what?
So that'd be
$600. So like
times 8 or 9.
prorated.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's just $600.
Oops.
One time, even though the government hasn't given anything out since March. Look at just like the average cost of the median rent price in any major city. Like that is not enough to even cover a single month of rent.
No, even if you're splitting the place.
Yeah, no, this is fucked up.
Yeah, now you're probably wondering to yourself, this stimulus, it was like almost $1 trillion.
Yeah, where's that money?
Where's the rest of the money going? Well, let's see here. There's $1.5 billion going to the border wall, so don't worry about that. I know you guys were all worried about that. Don't worry. There's $500 million for Israel.
Yeah, they need it for sure. Okay.
There's more money for those PPP loans, which absolutely weren't a complete clusterfuck and abused by millionaires and billionaires last time. Don't worry. There's PPP loan stuff there.
Is there student loan debt relief?
Nope, no student loan debt relief, sorry. And for some reason, there's something in there that makes illegal streaming a felony.
Thank you, Senator Tom Tillis.
Okay, yeah, good stuff. Thanks for the lump of coal. War on Christmas complete.
Yeah.
Literally, let us eat cake.
This is the worst Christmas.
And we're sure that you've already seen the numerous photos and tweets and articles online, but it should come as no surprise that all of the COVID-denying, anti-masker, large gathering encouraging politicians just immediately jumped to the front of the line and got their vaccines.
Yeah, this is so infuriating. Like seeing like Lindsey Graham,
Marco Rubio.
Yeah, just these fucking assholes who've been shouting "Reopen America" since like April.
Well, now I mean it, because I'm not going to get the virus.
Yeah, this pisses me off so much.
Yeah. After all this news, I just want to put on a delightful Christmas movie before I fucking choke someone.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Well, anyway, what you're about to see is not a Christmas movie, but it's a cinematic masterpiece delivered straight from everyone's favorite game. Cyberpunk 2077. This clip went viral over the weekend for being the perfect encapsulation of everything that could go wrong in this game, all happening at once. This is like a tech demo for like, hey gamers,
you heard all the rumors.
You heard the game's broken, but check this out.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's on a platform that actually runs it properly too. So this is the best case scenario.
It's got the ray tracing like reflections in the road. Like it looks beautiful, but it's just utter chaos.
Yeah, here you go.
Hola!
Hola! Anyways, we'll leave you with this. Trying to go out on a high note here. Mr. Beast opened 300 restaurants over the weekend. How did he do it? Did he use all that PPP money that he got at the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
No, he didn't actually open restaurants. I mean, he opened one in like North Carolina, but he did actually technically open those restaurants. Mr. Beast, he has jumped on the trend of operating ghost kitchens or virtual kitchens, which are delivery-only restaurants that share kitchen space with other actual restaurants or other virtual kitchens, making a variety of food options very efficiently and cheap and easy. Steve Aoki's done it, DJ Polly D has done it, and now Mr. Beast has done it, and in the process, broken the internet once again. And that's because the announcement caused literally every content creator on the platform to pull out the old vlogging camera, order up some Beast Burgers with the hopes that they'd get a bonus side of sauerkraut by getting acknowledged by Mr. Beast or jumping into
Is that really a thing? Sauerkraut?
No, but it should be. I'm very good at coming up with ideas for side things. It's either you like tag him, I got the burger, how about a little retweet? Or, you put it on YouTube and you get the SEO bonus being like, I tried the Beast Burger.
Is it like the Travis Scott burger where it's just a normal fucking burger?
No, but you got to tell him Cactus Jack sent you and annoy everyone at the McDonald's.
Sir, what can I get you?
Cactus Jack sent me!
So one Travis Scott burger?
Cactus Jack sent me, bitch!
You know it's just a normal McDouble with like...
Dum-dum!
All right, yeah, that'll be $5.
No, he at least took that out of the equation by putting it only on like Postmates and Uber Eats. You can't go bother people.
Now, of course, there's only one food reviewer that we trust with telling us how good or bad the Beast Burger chain food is. ReviewBrah and his running on empty food review. And turns out the Beast Burger ain't bad for your typical fast food fare. As ReviewBrah says, quote, it isn't as saucy as I expected it to be, which to me, that's a plus. I've seen other establishments do this. It's like there's too much sauce on it and it feels like I'm biting in and it's like this watery mess. I saw a few people complaining on social media saying there were some issues with the meat being undercooked, which is just a legitimate concern. The burger that I got seemed like it's cooked. It's still tender, very rich in flavor. It's pretty juicy, pretty flavorful, and I can't complain. It does have a little bit of tang to it and some sharpness, of course, from the onions and the pickles, which really do stand out.
He's the best reviewer.
I
love him. He's a joy. He apparently was not a fan of the chicken tender sandwich, but he did end up giving the Mr. Beast Burger a 7 out of 10 and described it as, quote, basic but good. Look, this is a good thing. We did obviously rag on Mr. Beast for taking a seemingly unnecessary PPP loan earlier this year. But apparently all these virtual kitchens that are cranking out Beast Burgers, they're making a lot of money doing so, and they are actual small businesses that are doing this. And he puts it online, and all these people are like, I gotta have the Beast Burger.
Yeah.
So they're cranking out burgers, they're making money, so credit where credit is due. Mr. Beast is actually genuinely helping out small businesses here. He's keeping them busy, bringing in some much needed cash right now. So good for him. And there you go. There's a heartwarming holiday story to leave you with. So good. Great. Time for some eggnog. Hope you're all happy.
Yeah. Please don't get lonely this holiday season. Let us keep you company with our most recent videos right over here, including a brand new episode of Weekly Weird News that is very funny and will probably result in us getting a visit from our FBI agents or maybe even the Secret Service.
Like John Mulaney.
Any day now.
Yeah.
Knock, knock. So that's cool. Find out about that.
Yeah. We'll see you soon for more.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.